Hello friends, happy ModCon! I'm Pocky, I'm the mod author for Sabotage and Subterfuge, sort of a fantasy-focused intrigue mod, criminal undergrounds, kingdom-toppling schemes, spy networks, that sort of thing. We'll be doing a quick gameplay overview of what it's like to use the mod today, in a fairly casual live-streamy sort of way with not a lot of scripting. And because of that, I'm going to be making very liberal use of the debug menu just to keep us moving on pace. Starting with the mod is pretty straightforward. Sabotage and Subterfuge just has its own decisions tree, and this is how you get into the mod. Between this and the tooltips, you should be fine to follow along in-game. And I'm not going to be going through these effects and requirements lists in much detail. I'll try to leave them up on screen, again, just for the sake of time. This initial decision unlocks our ne'er-do-well court positions and a spy network, and I'm going to start off by showing how those things work. Notice we got a bunch of follow-up decisions I'll cover in a little bit, as well as Recruit Malefactor, which is just a mod-specific version of Recruit for Court Position. Let's start with the Spy Network. For those of you familiar with Game of Thrones, this is an iteration on their system. There are three ways you can recruit spies. One of is directly, if there's a particular person that you want in your spy network. The second is indirectly, if there's a particular court you want a spy in, you can just check for them in general and it'll pull an eligible candidate. In this case, we can see we don't have any eligible candidates. If I go give myself all of the perks, this mod has a few perk changes that make spies more willing to join you, on top of, just having more intrigue and whatnot. And now we'll be able to check the court for potential spies. I'm going to pass some time until we get our event pop up. And now we get Christina from the Court of England as a spy. The last approach uses the council. Your spy master's tasks have mild adjustments also. So find secrets in a particular court gives you a chance instead of finding a secret to recruit a spy. And similarly, disrupt schemes now gives you a chance of finding enemy spies in your court. There's a discovery mechanic again, like in Game of Thrones. If we actually go to look at the spies menu, we can see a list of all the spies we have, how many we have out of our maximum capacity of spies, and some information about the spies. We'll come back to what spies can do for you other than just discovering secrets in a little bit. There's one decision that is very strongly related to spies, which is expanding the spy network, where this lets you double the count of spies, involve children in spying, and also lets you steal innovations or progress towards innovations, to be more specific, from whichever court your spies happen to be in. A little bit of that CK3, I'm going to put my spy master in Constantinople kind of flavor. I'm going to just go grab this to continue with the demo later. Next up, we have court positions. This mod adds 3 court positions and adjusts the Master Assassin. Think of these like the head honchos in your burgeoning criminal underground. They're going to enable the new schemes of the mod. So, fast overview, the Assassin lets you spread plague, the Femme Fatale lets you poison the target's opinion of their liege, or improve your spy network. The Rabble Rouser lets you instigate large peasant uprisings or vassal revolts. We're going to come back to that. And the Smuggler lets you either plan heists or prison breaks. I'm going to switch over to Matilda, and we are going to provoke the vassals of the HRE and see if we can't overthrow the Emperor. Alright, so here we are as Matilda just after assassinating our husband and taking that same criminal underground decision. I'm going to go hire a Femme Fatale and a Rabble Rouser and set them to work poison opinion so that we can use that scheme, and provoke vassals so we can use that scheme. We're going to be provoking the vassals of the Emperor, and we're going to be poisoning the opinion of his biggest military vassal. So again, poison opinion, it's like sway, except to the negatives for the target's liege, and provoke vassals, if the scheme is successful, we'll provoke the unhappiest vassal into making an independence faction. So let's get those rolling. I'm going to, again, use the debug menu here. Buff these schemes. And populate them with schemers. Just for the sake of pacing. And we're going to just wait until, look at that, I'm the marshal. Until we've had a poison opinion had the chance to go through, so we can see how it affects things. The reason I'm doing this internally as Matilda is just so we can see the factions menu, so you can get an understanding of exactly how the system works. This, I'm gonna wait. And I'll do this again from the perspective of Hungary in a minute afterwards, in brief, so we can see what it looks like if you're destabilizing somebody else's realm. So there's our successful opinion poisoning. Pardon the pink text, it's just because we're in debug mode. So time to provoke the vassals of the Kaiser. See how this goes. This is secret and success, very nice. And so we have this particularly dissatisfied vassal is decided to start up an independence faction as a result. This has been provoked by the scheme. So we can go look at this immediately and see that there's an independence faction. Oh, and immediately our dissatisfied vassal that we've been poisoning the opinion of has been willing to join it, which is great. We can join this ourselves if we want. Probably we'll do that just to speed up their discontentment. And we'll continue to get pop-ups as the faction here progresses. Don't need to deal with any of this. Just wait very impatiently for this ultimatum to be sent. Notice the initially provoked vassal stays in charge. Look at that. Make him hate him even more. Always good. This is the pop-up that the vassals are about to send their ultimatum. Look at that. Didn't even have to go to war over it. Oh, we are going to have to go to war for it. Wonderful. And there we go. So we have provoked an independence war in the HRE. This normally isn't possible this quickly. The game inherently has some... You can't start these kind of disillusion factions until a few years have passed. I'm just bypassing that for the sake of demo. So let's see what this looks like when you're not actually inside the destabilized empire instead. Alright, so here we are as Poland. Turns out Hungary has a child ruler at the moment. Exact same schemes as when we were Matilda. I'm going to just fire the vassal provoking now. By same debug super buffed schemers. I'm going to leave this poison opinion rolling just so it eventually makes the faction bigger. So this scheme is generally used for destabilization, as in I'm going to make my neighboring realm try to fracture it a little bit, maybe so I can eat up all the pieces. Which means mostly you don't do this from inside the empire you're trying to destabilize. So we got the word that our scheme was successful, and now the faction is going to be left to its own devices. We'll next be updated when they either fail and disband, or when they succeed and start to send demands to the empire of the HRE. Which might take a little bit. There's a guaranteed timeline that the factions have, such that the liege has time to answer them and whatnot. Oh, but there it is. The vassals are ready to send their demands. Let's see how it goes. Looks like it's full war, and there we go. The HRE, this is the result of our vassal provocation. There's now an independence war going on there that we can get involved in however we see fit. Alright, I'm not going to show any other schemes. I'll let you discover them on your own. I particularly recommend Spread Plague. It's one of my favorites. But there are a couple more odds and ends that I'll show off before I wrap up. Second last decision here. This makes all of our relevant court positions cheaper and more likely to help us, but also gives us the surveil target character interaction, and I'd like to show that to start. So what this lets us do, we're going to first need to get a spy in our Pomeranian target's court here. There we go. And then we will surveil the target. So this is also tracked in the spies menu, and what this does is instead of all of your spies helping you collect secrets in general from wherever they happen to be based, they will help you collect secrets on your specific designated target, at the expense of all else. So you and your spy master are completely unable to get secrets from anywhere else, but every quarter you have this % chance of triggering that event on your target. If they don't have any secrets, you maybe will find that out, maybe you'll still think that they do. Otherwise, you'll actually be able to learn secrets of specific targets, which is otherwise really difficult to do in the game. And lastly, our big capstone decision here. This gives you your house a modifier such that you get renown or whatever other whatever other reward you've picked. It's a game rule. Every time you complete a hostile scheme. But most interestingly is probably the Black Book artifact. If we take this and then we go take a look at our inventory, this artifact lets you inherit secrets. So as long as this is equipped, all of your heirs from all of your spy network secret shenanigans, as you accumulate the secrets, they won't be lost on inheritance. They'll continue being passed along your house as long as your heir is of your house. If you switch houses, it won't carry through with the book. It's purely your house lineage. Alright, the last thing I'm going to go over is an add-on mod for Sabotage and Subterfuge focused on obfuscation. This iterates on immersive realm espionage and hide army numbers, which you may be familiar with, tweaks them a little bit, and incorporates the spy network with them. So as we can see, if I go click on England here, can't see other characters' gold or troop counts. This is done throughout the user interface at a bunch of different levels. There are a number of ways that you can. The primary one, of course, this is a spy-focused mod. If you have a spy, there we go, in the target's court, you can see their numbers. Alternatively, let's say I have taken a particular spouse as a lover. See the values here. This is actually tied to a perk modification, Home Advantage. Lovers will now tell you about their spouse's troops. You can also do alliances. Where's my alliance? Let's get yes men in here. And you can see troops. You can also request realm information to bribe people to give you snapshots of troops. Not updated dynamically, but you can see it once. And you can get the same pop-up using your Spy Master's realm espionage action, which works in the exact same way. You just pick which area you'd like to go look at. The hide armies integration works pretty similarly. Let's just go declare war on somebody nearby. Get our troops raised and start walking over there. This is a game rule. If you don't like this setting, that's totally fine. But as we get nice and close, we'll see we can't see exactly how many troops they have, as you might expect. And the spy network changes are not just for seeing troops that a person might have in total. They'll also show you troops on the map. So if you're going to war in a particularly large area, if I was fighting from one end to the other of Ireland, I had spies halfway through. As those troops moved through areas in which I had spies, I'd be able to see their number, even if I couldn't see it in their home base. So it really encourages developing a wide web of spies, especially if you're going to be doing a bunch of conquering. And that wraps up my presentation. I'm just going to show off the game rules here, because I know some people really care about these. There's another few things in the mod adds. You can unfriend people, you can claim bastards into your own house. There's some perk changes. Seducer in general gets buffed a little bit. There are embezzle and ennoble character interactions that you can unlock. And of course, the other schemes that I did not have time to show off today. If you do decide to check out the mod, I hope you have a great time with it and discovering those new schemes and all the funky ways that you can use them. Please enjoy the rest of ModCon. So many people did so much work to put this together, and a huge shout out and thank you to all of those folks for doing so, and to all of you folks for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of the presentations.